$1 million and half a dozen prominent other Democratic potential candidates for president of the United States and their support. That's a powerful 1-2 punch in favor of Kamala Harris as she tries to move quickly on seizing the prize of the Democratic presidential nomination. Wonder how Marianne Williamson feels about that. She's been fighting the good fight for that nomination, back in the race, and probably not too happy with what's been transpiring. The Democratic presidential candidate, Marianne Williamson. Marianne, good to have you back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me, Neil.
I don't know if you got the word that she's inevitable. So what are you doing?
Well, you know, you said there's a 1-2 punch and I'm not happy. I'm happy about part of it. I'm happy that we've moved on. I'm happy that the president stepped aside. He did the right thing. I'm happy that Democrats are feeling hopeful. But I also think we need to calm down and do some deep thinking here. First of all, you're talking about the millions and millions of dollars. Well, let's remember that Hillary Clinton had more money than Donald Trump in the year 2016. Money alone won't buy this. And secondly, everybody just falling into lockstep now. It's got to be Kamala is no different than we fell into lockstep. It's got to be Joe. That was a mistake. And this would be a mistake as well. You know, Neil, in order to win, and that's really the ultimate issue here, not just having a candidate, but winning in November, we're going to have to convince the American people that we have a vision of what will happen over the next 4 years that will actually improve the material conditions of their lives. Kamala Harris, if we just anoint her without insisting, are we going to have a conversation here about what the Democratic Party stands for? What are the views, whether it's not just the obvious ones like Ukraine, like immigration, like Israel and Palestine? My concern has always been for the deeper humanitarian issues that, to me, are at the core of the purpose of democracy, that people are cared for. We have 39% of Americans who report that they regularly skip meals in order to pay their rent. We have millions of people who sell their blood plasma. We have not only an issue of the poor, but of the near poor. We have 62% of Americans who are living paycheck to paycheck. No one should be just anointed as our presidential candidate who is not speaking to this. The reason I'm running, the reason I'm petitioning and urging delegates to pledge for an open convention by going to convention@marianne2024.com. It's not saying to these delegates.
What will that do, Marianne? I mean, the fact of the matter is, and you're very eloquent, you've spoken very strongly and passionately about these issues, but you never broke through. Say, well, Kamala Harris, she's fairly competitive with Donald Trump. Kind of the numbers, you know, matched against him with what Joe Biden had. You, not so much, and that's just the breaks.
Well, yes, but, Neil, you know who had me? You know who allowed me to be exposed to the American people during the primary season? You did. To be honest, for a Democratic candidate running for president, to be blacklisted on CNN or blacklisted on MSNBC means that the Democratic electorate doesn't even know that you're there. And that was purposeful. And I was kicked off ballots and all kinds of shenanigans that are played because they had decided it had to be Joe. They announced that. You know,
so how would you break through that, Marianne? How would you break through that? In other words, let's say, and we did want you on, we did have you on, so that we wanted to hear from everybody, and we appreciated you coming on. But this is a tough battle. Now, you talk about an open convention. Others argue that it could fracture the party, that it would show division, that someone has got to rally around. You don't have a lot of time, but we're a month away from the Democratic convention, and concerns that you got to move fast. So if I talk to party players, they're going to say, we don't have time for Marianne. What do you say?
Well, because that's been their ruse the entire time. What they're really saying is we do not have a listening for anyone who is not towing the party line. And what I'm saying is that the issues that I'm bringing to the fore are the ones that could actually provide an exciting campaign. The issue here is not just to anoint someone from their club, but rather to win in November. And, you know, there are some people in this country, Neil, who would rather, and I'm sorry, but on my side of the aisle, who I think would rather lose to Trump than lose their power. And so I don't see it as a battle. I see it as a meaningful truth-telling. Listen, it's not fun to wake up every morning and be insulted and mocked and all of the things that you take should you stand on some of these deeper values that I stand for. But I know that millions of people are joined with me. And I remind you that even despite the erasure and the invisibilization that I received, I did get 500,000 votes. The people who, among the people who actually heard me, there was a listening. And I think in what
well,
will
no, you are last
be
candidate standing, to your credit, Marianne, whether people agree or disagree. So there's some of you said of that. But right now, and you follow these numbers better than I do, but it looks like Kamala Harris has over 1,000 delegates. So she's more than halfway there, and the convention's a month away. You might be doomed before there is even a convention.
Well, that might be true. But if anybody is listening to me now who is a delegate who feels that, no, I'm not going to just stand in line. I'm going to vote my conscience. I want to hear an open convention. I want to hear a discussion of the issues. I hope that they will write to us at convention at marianne2024.com. Sometimes in life, you just want to follow your conscience. You want to do the right thing. And there's not enough of that in our political conversation. And if I'm if I'm that last person standing saying, let's do that, it does not serve Kamala Harris for us to just say, okay, Kamala, it does not serve her, it does not serve the party, it does not serve victory in November, and I don't think it serves our country.
Got it. All right. Well, watch closely. Marianne Williamson, thank you very much. Her views not with